You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for being with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning. The day we have all been waiting for has finally arrived. The Madlanga Commission into corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system begins today. And we are here at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College, coming to you live from Pretoria to give you the latest updates. As you can imagine, there's a huge media contingency here. Journalists from different media houses are all set up here, ready to hear from the very first witness at this commission, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lt Mkhwanazi, the man who is the reason we are here, the man who alleged in that famous press briefing that our criminal justice system has been compromised. He claimed that there is a crime syndicate controlled by a drug cartel that involved politicians, law enforcement members, business people, prosecutors, the judiciary. Do you remember that? Take a listen to what he said back then when he held that press briefing.
And I can confirm before the South Africans today that the investigation which these members were involved with in Gauteng has unmasked the syndicate. And this syndicate involves, amongst others, politicians who are currently serving in Parliament. The law enforcement officers include the members of the South African Police Service, the Metro Police, and Correctional Services. They include prosecutors in Gauteng province, the judiciary, and all these are controlled by the drug cartel as well as business people in that province of Gauteng. On the 1st of January, the letter is issued on the 31st. On the 1st of January, 2025, Mr. Brown Mokgotsi sends a WhatsApp to Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, and it reads as follows, I quote, "I have arranged a meeting for Sibia and the minister. They must have a solution." And it follows another message. "The task team that came to your house and harassed you have been dissolved." The minister denied on record. Go and Google a visual presentation to the Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March this year, towards the end of that briefing, where the Minister of Police responded and he said he does not know this Mr. Brown Mokgotsi. He said that in Parliament. However, the Minister confirmed that he knows this Mr. Brown Mokgotsi during a telephone conversation that he had, which was posted on X under the handler at Lord K. This was on the 30th of March. The safety of South Africans is in jeopardy. At least Mkhwanazi still has a firearm. He still has a men and women that he works with. He can still somehow protect himself. There are men and women out there that are vulnerable. They've got no one to protect.
Yep, and that is the KZN Police Commissioner, Lt Mkhwanazi, in that famous press briefing. So that's why we're here. The president has said that the allegations that he made raise serious concerns about our national security and the rule of law. And if proven true, they could threaten to undermine the confidence of South Africans in the ability of the SAPS to protect them and fight crime against corruption. Remember what the president said?
These allegations, therefore, call for an urgent and comprehensive investigation. To address these allegations and the implications of these allegations, I'm establishing a judicial commission of inquiry that will be chaired by Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mbuyisile Madlanga. Justice Madlanga will be assisted by Advocate Sesi Baloyi, Senior Counsel, and Advocate Sandile Kumalo, Senior Counsel. The Commission will investigate allegations relating to the infiltration of law enforcement, intelligence, and associated institutions within the criminal justice system by criminal syndicates. Among the allegations that the Commission may investigate are the facilitation of organized crime, suppression or manipulation of investigations, inducement into criminal actions by law enforcement leadership, commission of any other criminal offenses, and intimidation.
So that's President Cyril Ramaphosa there. So what are you hoping this inquiry will produce? Obviously, as we know, there will be recommendations at the end, but they're not binding, so the president is not forced to implement them. But the final report will be sent to the Speaker of Parliament and the Chief Justice, and not only to the president, which I think is great for ensuring accountability. So what are you hoping for? And what exactly do you want to hear from General Mkhwanazi? I'm hoping that he can name the politicians, the law enforcement members, the business people, prosecutors, and members of the judiciary who have been compromised, even if he doesn't do that publicly, but at least give their names to the commission, because if that's really the case, that there are people that are compromised in the criminal justice system, then they should be fired and held accountable. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial on the 702 open line this hour. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. At 10 o'clock, we're going to be expecting that first witness at this commission, the KZN Police Commissioner General Lt Mkhwanazi. He's expected to start at around 10 o'clock. So we'll take that live for you. We want you to hear him as he starts his testimony, so to speak. At 11 o'clock, we'll get you some reaction to what he would have said already, but continue, of course, with keeping tabs on the testimony. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
All right, let's bring in now Orrin Singh, and then I'm going to come to your calls and your WhatsApps as well, who will talk to us about what we can expect today. Orrin, thank you so much. We're just standing outside an auditorium. Would you call it that? An auditorium where this commission will be taking place. Just take us through what we can expect today.
Yeah, Clement, I think it's an important day. Obviously, just under 2 months in the making, or over 2 months in the making. We've had several delays by the commission themselves due to procurement issues, but we're finally here. The stage is set. I've been inside the auditorium. We've seen this hot seat, as we could call it, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi will take, and we're hoping that we're going to get more than what he put forward to the public on the 6th of July. We're hoping that the evidence leaders, I've seen Advocate Matthew Chaskelson walk in a short while ago. He's one of the evidence leaders and senior counsels who will be probing and questioning Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, but we're hoping to get more answers, Clemens. I think that's the thing.
Are there members of the public that are also welcome to this commission?
Members of the public are welcome. There's only about 2 or 3 inside, to be honest, Clement. They have seating capacity for 300, but we've seen things are quiet. We haven't seen much members of the public arrive here today. We're expecting a lot of people to arrive, but we do know that the MK party in Gauteng have announced they will be coming to picket, so maybe they'll be the members of the public. Yeah, and speaking of the MK party, they also tried to go to court to stop this commission. What exactly are they concerned about? They don't want this to proceed. From the time President Ramaphosa established the commission, they claimed it was unconstitutional, something they took to the Constitutional Court where they didn't win, and they're also claiming this entire commission is unlawful. They don't want to see it proceed, and they basically want it to be halted immediately. And they're going to be going to the Pretoria High Court tomorrow. They're going to hear the outcome of the application in front of a full bench. And we spoke to Commission Spokesperson yesterday, Jeremy Micheals, and he says, look, they respect the decision of the court, whatever it may be, whether it is in favor of the MK party or not. The Commission, being someone that respects the courts, respects the decision of the Pretoria High Court. So as you say that you are hoping that there's more that's going to come out of this testimony by Lt Mkhwanazi, I mean, are we expecting him to drop some names? Because what he did during that press briefing was make more high-level allegations. Yes, mentioning Brown Bohotsi, Ket Matlala, a few individuals, but he spoke about the judiciary that is compromised. He spoke about prosecutors that are compromised. Is there an expectation that he may be asked who those people are
And can that even be shared in a public forum like this, or is that the kind of information that would only be privy to the inquiry?
I think a crucial point of your question, Clement, is when you said, is there an expectation that he's going to be questioned? And that is up to the evidence leaders. I think the expectations, as much as it is from the public and the media on Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, we expect the evidence leaders to probe him, to question him. Can you give us a name? Can you expand on what you've just said? And can you go a little bit further into detail? Because for Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, I can imagine that he will be here ready to give set answers and is not wanting possibly to go too in depth. He's already opened a can of worms, but whether he's going to be or wanting to expand on that, we'll have to see.
All right, we'll wait and see. Orrin Singh, thank you so much for that. Orrin Singh, our EWN reporter who is covering this Madlanga Commission. We're just outside the auditorium where the testimonies are going to be taking place, and I've seen members of the public walking in. The evidence leaders have arrived. We are told that General Mkhwanazi may also have arrived. He's used a completely different entrance on the other side, probably for security reasons. And then he is expected to start talking at 10 o'clock. And I want to know, what do you want to hear from him as soon as he starts talking? What are you hoping you can walk away with from his testimony today? 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. It's 19 minutes now after 9 o'clock.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
John, let's start with you. You're calling us from Soweto. Good morning.
I am Clement.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. You know what? I believe in science to start off with, but I don't think that. I think we're very gullible as South African. I don't think anything will come out of this. We should see this thing as for what they are. I mean, commissions are used by our president to avoid taking decisions, precisely to protect certain people within his own party. I mean, we spend R1 billion. R1 billion. Just think how many schools and clinics, hospitals, how many people we could have educated. 1 billion. Guess what? All those volumes that we saw him on TV receiving from, not the deputy president, the judge president of South Africa, Zondo. They're sitting in his office or somewhere, piling dust. Names were mentioned there. He did nothing. Whether you look at the digital vibe, names were mentioned there. He did nothing. The very same people are in parliament. They're making our laws. Now, why do we think it's a scam? It's becoming the biggest scam, driving news, paying lawyers. I promise you. Clement, let's talk 6 months from now. We'll all have forgotten. There'll have been a new story. That's what South Africa is. We are not serious, and we don't take ourselves serious, and we shouldn't expect anyone to take us serious. That's who we are.
All right,
Thank
John. John in Soweto, thank you so much for your contribution. Let's go to Mpho, who's also calling us from Soweto. Mpho, what are your thoughts? Go ahead. Hi.
My thought is, I just need to ask, what will the general be testimonying about, and can he name shame all those people that are involved in this case, so that we can know as a public also? And why does the president doesn't want to just to arrest those people that will be named?
Yeah, but they haven't been named yet. And also the president is not responsible for arresting people in Po. But I think you and I must hold him accountable once this commission is done and there are recommendations that have been made. We have to constantly ask, the same way we've been asking about the State Capture Commission, when are you going to implement the recommendations? We can't let our government spend so much money on a commission like this. And yes, the recommendations are not binding. Yes, the president is not violating any law by not implementing these recommendations, but he owes it to us. He owes it to South Africa. And we have to make sure that becomes the case.
Yes, because if you remember very well, the only person that was arrested was Jacob Zuma when he came into the inquiry from Zondo. And all those people that now they're going just to getting bails and everything. Thank you very much, Clement. Now I understand very well.
Thank you very much, Mpho, for your call. Let's go to some WhatsApp voice notes that are coming through on 072 702 1702.
Clement, I personally think this is a great opportunity for the country to witness the kind of leadership the president really is. Whether he has the balls, the guts to stand up and make decisions. Whatever comes out of this inquiry will give us an opportunity. And let's be glad that it's probably going to come out before the next local elections. So it will give us room to see how decisive our president is. And I think him making some hardcore decisions on these issues and on whatever the findings are, I think that has more room for people to regain some level of trust in him.
Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, there is already a limit, of course, to how long this Madlanga Commission. I think the first 3 months has to be an interim report that's produced. But of course, there have been some delays as well. So I don't know to what effect that's going to complicate things. Let's go to Tommy now in Roodepoort. Tommy, go ahead. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement. I hope you are well. Clement, a listener, John, says nothing has been done about Zondo. I remember the presidency giving a full account of all the recommendations, what it is they say they have done and completed, what it is they say is still in progress, and what it is they say is still outstanding. Now, what I find funny is you don't challenge John, and none of the media says, no, but all this has been said by the presidency. This is true, this is a lie, and stuff like that. As if a narrative must just be pushed in South Africa that absolutely nothing has been done with regards to commissions of inquiry. I don't know, are we trying to just run this country by ignorance and let lies fester? Why is the media? Why has the media not taken up that issue to say no? But this has been done.
Well, the media has, Tommy. Yeah, the media has. I mean, how do you know that the president has actually submitted a report? It's through the media, right?
I
the president
know
didn't
because
necessarily send you an update.
No. I know
to your point.
I know
to your point though, about what the media needs to do. Just 1 second, I'll give you a chance now, Tommy. I'm glad you picked that up from, was it John in Soweto? I didn't pick that up from John. What I picked that up was, his president is not going to do anything. And I said, well, we haven't had the recommendations yet. But you are correct. And we've spoken about this even on this show, about the report that the president has submitted in as far as the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, what he has been able to implement, what he hasn't been able to implement. There are still other things that are outstanding, the regulations that need to be put up to protect whistleblowers. Those things still need to come through. There are certain agencies that the chairperson of the State Capture Commission recommended that they be established to try and deal with corruption in government. There are some things that are still being waited for, but a report has been submitted by the president to indicate what he's been able to do and what he hasn't been able to do.
All right, can I continue now?
Yeah.
Yes, but basically what I'm saying, week in, week out, we hear the words, nothing has been done based on Zondo's recommendations. Nothing means zero. And John said it in his, I just heard him now. He said, look at what happened to Zondo. But nobody is challenging John or this narrative that absolutely nothing has been done. Maybe we can start.
And you are doing that, right, Tommy?
Sorry?
Yeah, and you are doing that. You're doing that. So that's...
I'm doing it, but I'm not on the radio daily. I've heard, I saw the report directly from the presidency's website when they released it. I did not really hear it. It was not blown up in the media. One. We can go to all the SIU, what the SIU has done until now in terms of retrieving all the funds. Nobody is highlighting that certain things have been done. People have lost monies they thought were now forever in their pockets. That incentive is being taken away for people to be corrupt. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying I'm not saying the media must kowtow to the government, but at the end of the day, there is a false narrative that these commissions are being used as an excuse not to do anything. They are being used to protect the president and his clan or his people and stuff like that. And it is an unfortunate narrative which I have picked up in the media. When I go on to X and I follow whoever I do follow there, and I read these stories, it is chalk and cheese. What the reality and vis-a-vis what is out there in the public eye is chalk and cheese. People just want to say absolutely nothing has been done.
Yeah, well, Tommy in Roodepoort, thank you so much for the call. And I think that's why the open line exists, right? You can pick something up and come and say, but here's what I have picked up. But to be fair on the media, I have seen lots of media houses report on that. We have spoken about that on the show. If I'm not mistaken, we may have even done a listener's choice where we were looking at how far is the president with the implementation of the State Capture Commission. That conversation has happened on other shows on this radio station. So that I know for a fact, and we've had that conversation. But in as far as what John said, thank you for picking that up. I didn't hear that. But you're right. The president has provided a report, but that report doesn't say that he has implemented all the recommendations. That report only goes as far as saying, here is what was recommended, here's what I've been able to do, and here's what I haven't been able to do yet. For instance, are we ever going to consider our electoral system? Because that's part of the problem that somehow gives birth to a state capture project like we've experienced. Remember, in Parliament, you've got ANC or DA or other parties' MPs who are going there on a ticket of a particular party that they represent. And when they are in that Parliament, sometimes there are investigations that committees hold, and when there are recommendations from those committees, they don't get implemented, or the ANC would abuse its majority when they still enjoyed the majority to try and push down that report. And the chairperson of the commission said, we need to reconsider even our electoral system. We need to ensure that it's structured in a way that actually allows for members of parliament to remember and act based on their allegiance to the constitution. Has that been implemented? No, it hasn't. You know how many reports have been produced to that effect, making the recommendation around the reconsideration of our electoral laws? Several. The Van Zyl Slabet report. I can think of the Kgalema Motlanthe report. I can go on and on. But those things are not being implemented. And this is not the only commission where some key recommendations have been made and they are simply being ignored.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock, we're live here in Pretoria for the Madlanga Commission, which is expected to begin its hearings, public hearings, at 10 o'clock this morning. I'm sure you don't want to miss that. This is the day a lot of you have been waiting for, and we're going to be hearing from the first man today, the KZN Police Commissioner, General Lt Mkhwanazi, the man who made the allegations that led to the president establishing this commission of inquiry. And today, he's the first one to speak. I'm going to be taking your calls on what you expect, what you want to hear, what you're hoping this commission will actually produce. Let me bring in now first, though, Jeremy Micheals, who is the spokesperson for the commission. Mr. Micheals, thank you for making time. It's been a hectic couple of weeks for you guys, but finally the day is here.
Very good to be here with you, Clement, on site. This is the day that many people have been waiting for, to hear Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi testify under oath at the Commission's first public hearing. Indeed, it has been intense in the build-up. Massive logistics from the side of the Secretariat. And simultaneously the evidence leaders and the investigators have been conducting their work over many weeks. Of course, as you said, President Ramaphosa having established the commission on the 23rd of July, some 2 weeks after those allegations at that press conference by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi in Durban.
So what are we expecting when he takes the hot seat, so to speak? Are we expecting him to take us through what he had said on the day that he made these allegations, or is there going to be a new statement that is drafted where now there are allegations and more that could also be added there? How much latitude does he have to add or not add on what he had already said at that press briefing?
Well, firstly, I think the opening statement by Advocate Terry Motau, the chief evidence leader, of course, will shape the context for the inquiry, help the public to understand the Commission's approach. And then, in terms of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's testimony, you are going to have to wait and see. There is a very lengthy witness statement that he is going to be led through by Advocate Selo, Mahlapi Selo. And I mean, I don't want to preempt what is going to unfold. The opening statement by Advocate Motau will take some time because that's necessary. And then we will hear from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Okay. Jeremy Micheals, thank you so much and all the best over the next couple of weeks and months as you prepare, the first report after 3 months, and hopefully they still, of course, are able to meet that deadline. Let's go back to your calls now on 011-883-0702. We can start with your WhatsApps, in fact, that have come through on 072-702-1702.
Morning, Clement. This is Viwe. You know, Clement, this is another talk show. Let me tell you, we were so excited about Zondo Commission that day. Names are going to be, dropped. People are going to get arrested and all that. We were so excited as a nation. But look now, nothing happened. Another talk show again, because the president is avoiding making decisions. He'll come up with those commissions. This commission, 6 months or 5 months later, will be forgotten about it. Yes, the names, they will be dropped and what's going to happen. But let me tell you, nothing is going to happen. And he knows that Ramaphosa, those are South Africans. They'll be forgotten. In 6 months' time, there'll be something new. So let's just create this commission so that, just to fool them. Let me tell you, another talk show. Thank you, Clement.
Good morning, Clement. I'm just hoping that the other law enforcement agencies are listening and taking note. So if somebody is named there and they believe that there's a criminal offense made, they need to be investigating that. They must not wait for recommendations. So if somebody is named and there's evidence, they should take that up and not wait for the recommendations at the end of the commission. Penny from Four Ways.
Clement, I just pray to God that media will be fair to Mkhwanazi on whatever Mkhwanazi is going to reveal. Because so far media hasn't been very fair to Mkhwanazi. Media has always making us think that Mkhwanazi is the one that is guilty. They've been focusing on him as if he's the one who is guilty, not focusing on the names that Mkhwanazi has revealed. I just pray to God that this time, whatever names Mkhwanazi is going to reveal, that media will be fair enough, that we focus on the work on hand. We focus on what Mkhwanazi is exposing rather than making the society think that Mkhwanazi is the guilty one. Moses.
So much for that, Moses. And in fact, I want to respond to Moses' point, but I'll do that in a moment, right? Let me first bring in Zweli, who's one of the members of the public that are here to listen to General Mkhwanazi as he makes his first appearance here at the Madlanga Commission. Zweli, how are you, man? Thank you for speaking to us.
I'm good, and yourself, Clement?
Sure. So you're not here like many of us working. You're here to just listen. Why did you decide to come and could be doing other things today?
As a concerned South African, as a concerned citizen, I decided just to come to hear it from the horse's mouth from the start that what has been happening in our country, especially in SAPS. And I hope that this particular commission will be able to retain the image and the integrity of SAPS. Because for now, as South Africans, especially myself, I'm actually gradually losing that particular trust in SAPS based on the allegations that were said by General Mkhwanazi. Not only the allegation, but what has been happening on the ground. But I hope that this particular commission will retain that particular integrity of SAPS.
Yeah. What have you, the first time that he made the allegations, did you watch that press conference, and what did you think at the time as a member of the public?
I thought that, there's a lot happening in our country, and the institutions that we expect to guard and protect us, they are involved in such deep allegation with criminal elements, with people who are accused of serious things. And where this is our last stand, the SAPS. If we've got issues, we must go and report it there at SAPS. We've got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Zweli, thank you so much for coming through. And all the best. All the best.
Thank you.
Zweli is one of the public members that are here at the Madlanga Commission. I want to go back to the point that Moses was raising around the media is making people, General Mkhwanazi as if he's the guilty one. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I've already made my point very clear from the beginning that I don't think there are holy cows here. I've said before that I think what we are dealing with here is bigger than we think. If you think these are just top cops that are fighting or each other, or top cops that are trying to expose some business people, then I think we are in for a big surprise. And I'm hoping that because there are going to be more witnesses and more testimonies here, that's going to give us a sense of the bigger fight behind the scenes. In fact, there are a lot of people, members of the public included, who I think have not actually been wanting to be fair in their analysis and assessment of the different parties here that are involved in this entire saga. Which is why whenever you try, criticize General Mkhwanazi, then you are seen as you hate him. You are part of the cabal that doesn't want corruption in the criminal justice system to be exposed. I've never stood for that. In fact, I've even told you on air, when he had responded to a journalist making suggestions that a journalist receives or maybe receiving drug cartel money, I called that out, right? You can have a different view. My view was that is not how you respond to a journalist unless you've got evidence. Otherwise, you can't just be making suggestions like that when journalists ask you basic questions and you're suggesting that they're receiving some drug money. If you know any information, release it. Otherwise, you are a reckless public official. What I have picked up is people have always tried to take sides, right? People want to force you to be part of the so-called Sibia cabal. Other people want to force you to be part of the part of Mkhwanazi's cabal, so to speak. And I want to demonstrate this example. In fact, let me demonstrate it so that you can get a sense of how hectic things have been since Mkhwanazi made the allegations. And as I said to you, the day after that briefing, I believe that this fight between the top cops, from then I was like, this must be bigger, because I spoke to people who are close to General Mkhwanazi. I spoke to people who are close with General Shadrack Sibia, and I realized that we're dealing with something bigger here. And that's probably going to make more sense during this commission. And I want to give you two examples. Do you remember when I hosted Malcolm X on this show? Right? And he said he doesn't know General Mkhwanazi, but he called him after the briefing, and Mkhwanazi missed his call, and Mkhwanazi returned his call. Do you remember when I had that conversation with Malcolm X? Let me just remind you. do you have a relationship with General Mkhwanazi? Because you seem to have a very close relationship with these top police officials, because you said you've got links to their bosses.
They also have relationships with me.
Yeah. On what basis? On what basis?
I've never met General Mkhwanazi before. Besides to say, we had an international festival in Durban in May.
Yeah.
We brought Red Cross. I was a joint venture partner at that festival, and obviously we had to interact with authorities in Durban, the municipality, and in one of the pictures, General Mkhwanazi met my business partner.
Okay, so when you called him after his press briefing, what were you trying to clarify to him?
I was trying to say, General, you said someone that called General Libya tried to interfere with the work of the police. I'm that person, and I was not trying to interfere with the work of the police.
And what did he say?
He did not pick up. Then 3 hours later, he called me. I also missed his call.
So that is Malcolm X, right? After I had that interview with Malcolm X, I tweeted and I said what Malcolm X had said, right? And I got a call from someone very close to General Mkhwanazi, and I was asked to take down the tweet in a polite way. And the concern was, no, it creates an impression that Mkhwanazi knew Malcolm X. And I said, well, I tweeted everything that Malcolm X told me on the show, and I'm not going to take down any tweet. If anybody has a concern with that, and this person said he was sent by General Mkhwanazi to me. And I said, I'm not taking down any tweet. If anybody wants to speak, and we have, in fact, have consistently asked for even interviews from General Mkhwanazi and his spokesperson since this issue broke, right? So the point I'm trying to make there is there are people who are close to these people who are always going to want you to report in a way that favors them. Yeah? But when you report in other ways, then you are seen as a hero to them, as if you're part of them, and then the other ones get angry. And here's another example of that. Just this week, I interviewed another businessman, Serge Kabonge, and he revealed that he is close friends with Shadrach Sibiya. And I tweeted what he told me, and I explained that this man who is friends with Sibiya is friends with an arrested businessman named Ket Matlala. You know what happened? I got a call from someone close to Shadrach Sibiya raising issues with my tweet and accusing me of pushing a narrative that's against Sibiya. So now I was being accused of being part of the Mkhwanazi faction. And again, of course, I refused to take down that tweet. So I'm giving you this example, Moses, to mention to you and to demonstrate how crazy it's been behind the scenes, that you've got people, not only members of the public, people who are close to these stakeholders that are involved, who are trying to push for their position. So as a journalist, when you are criticizing this one, then they come attack. When you are criticizing this one, you are seen to be against them, they come attack, which is not really the case. Here, we're just doing our jobs. It's 8 minutes now before 10:02.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
5 minutes before 10 o'clock. Tsepo, you are calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning. Look, I believe that name and shame without any form of evidence, it will be a futile exercise. I think the commission today has been established so we're expecting General Mkhwanazi to present before the commission an evidence that is having in his position, and we want to see the people that have been accused, what kind of an evidence they will present in their defense. I totally disagree, Clemens, that we need to name and shame people without any shred of evidence. Evidence needs to be presented. And once the evidence has been presented, then we know the truth. So we cannot just go and arrest people simply because somebody dropped your name. What kind of the country can be? So evidence must be presented before the commission. And if people found guilty, then they must be then prosecuted and be sent to jail. Thank you, Clement.
Yeah. Well, Tsapo in Pretoria, thank you so much for that. And of course, it would be very reckless of the commission to lead evidence and allow names to be mentioned and not ask if there's evidence to that effect. What you must give Lt Mkhwanazi credit for is that when he had that famous press briefing, he was able to provide some evidence. And maybe this time around we're going to hear more. Remember, he was quoting SMSs, WhatsApp conversations between this associate of the police minister and this businessman, Clement Manyathela, who has since been arrested. So he was able to pinpoint certain people and also demonstrate through messages the relationship that he was alleging. Is there going to be more here? I hope so. I hope so, because there are some serious allegations that have been made. And for me, what concerned me so much was the allegation around the judiciary, that it is compromised, that we've got prosecutors and judges that are being controlled by criminal syndicates. I want to know, who are those people? And even if he doesn't mention them publicly here, I'm hoping that he at least sends the names to the commission. And the commission can communicate that, maybe in their report, maybe even before they issue the final report, because we cannot take another minute of those people sitting and staying in their jobs if they are so compromised. Let's listen to some of the WhatsApp voice notes that have come through.
Clems, good morning. My own side of this saga, is just I'm just kind of inquisitive. Assuming it was found out that the general lied, it was a made-up story and all that, what will happen to him? Is he going to be court-martialed? Is he going to be jailed? What exactly will happen? Because I'm thinking this guy couldn't have come out with this kind of story if it were not true. Wow. Let's see what happens. Titus Rosenthal.